Hey guys, it's Katie at scrappinkaty.ctmh.com, and I'm going to walk you through a really quick tip on hiding journaling after the fact. Now, this is a layout that I showed on my YouTube channel in the last couple of days using the Seaside collection as well as some stencils from Close to My Heart. And you can see that off camera, I added that journaling up at the top. Right here, I'm just measuring what the size would be. I plan on covering it with some striped pattern paper from this same collection. Now, I love to use my handwriting on my layouts, but as you can see here, I added it and then I really didn't like it. So I am just taking this striped paper, I'm cutting it down to 6 inches. You saw me cut some stripes off of one side and then the other, and that's mainly because I wanted certain colors to be on those stripes. So that's why I kind of cut through the middle of that sheet. And then I am cutting just a tiny piece because what I do to hide this journaling, I want to make sure that it still looks cohesive with the rest of my layout. So I have cut this to size 2.5, and then I have scored it at 1/2 inch. Now, to make this kind of blend in with the rest of the layout, if you recall, I did some sponging. And so I'm going to sponge on top of this pattern paper, again, to make it look like it's meant to be there. You don't want to just throw that pattern paper on there to hide the journaling. You want to make it look like that was your intention. And so I've done that. And then again, I just creased that score line. And then I'm going to get out my tear tape that I use. You want this tape that's going to go around the back of the layout to be really, really strong. So I've just torn a couple of pieces and put that on that little 1/2 inch score line and I'm going to just peel that off with my paper piercer, that backing. I did have to cut out quite a bit. I did this at a retreat a month or so ago and I was sitting down, which usually I scrapbook standing up. And so my head got in the way a lot. So I had to cut some out. So if you see me jump here in just a second, that is because I cut my head. Basically, it just took up the whole frame. So you can see there now that you have that little flap. Now to also make it fit in a little bit more with the rest of the layout, I am going to bring in that little piece that I cut. Remember, I cut like 1 inch long piece of that striped paper. So I'm just tearing that left layout. I'm tearing it at the bottom, and then I am going to adhere that 1x6 piece on the back of this left side. And then that way those stripes will peek through the bottom of that layout. Now, the reason I'm doing this is because if you can notice, I did not use that striped pattern paper anywhere else on this layout. So by adding it to the top right of that right layout, I definitely needed to add some to the left layout. Now, I ended up moving it over just a little bit because I wanted that smoothie stripe to show. So I cut the end off and then ended up gluing the rest of that on some adhesive that was left on the back of that layout. And then here I am going to pull out the sticker sheet. Now, I did add several stickers before my little mishap, so I definitely want to add some stickers up at the top by the striped pattern paper, again, to make it look like it was intended to be there. So I'm going to add a couple of stars, and then I am going to bring in those glitter gems that you also see on the layout here and there, and I'm just going to add one up there. And then that pretty much is going to be the layout. I'm going to pull out my album, our Mexico album, and I'm going to show you how this goes into the memory protectors. And then you can see where it's just hidden. Now, if someone wanted to pull it out, then they could definitely read that journaling. If you are a follower of mine, you know that I love to hide journaling, but I usually do it on purpose. But this was just a quick tutorial to show you how to do it if you add journaling to your layout and the layout's already done. So here is a look at the layout before I added journaling, just to kind of remind you. I will leave a link down below to that original video. And I hope that this little tidbit of information helps you in the future if you think that you've really messed your layout up by adding journaling.